Welcome to Taking It to the Nub. I'm your host, Boston Jimmie, and tonight, oh man, I love this group I have on tonight. Okay, this is Guillermo Pena Cigars. A lot of history here. You probably might even have had Guillermo Pena cigars without even knowing you had them because he makes them not just for his own brand but for others too. So he's at that level. So we're about to bring Guillermo in along with the rest of his team right after this message from our sponsors.
And today's show is brought to you by Casa Cuevas Cigars. In the 19th century, Juan Cuevas, Spanish immigrant from Santander, began what was to be a family business which now spans 4 generations. Like others fortunate enough to live and work in Pinar del Rio province of Cuba, Juan commenced cultivating tobacco, turning it into a successful business. Years later, in the Ciabo Valley of the Dominican Republic, Luis Cuevas Sr., Juan Jr.'s son, carried on the family tradition of handcrafting fine cigars in the family's cigar factory, Tabacalera Las Lavas. Today, Luis Sr. is joined by his son Luis Jr. in the manufacturing and sale of premium long filler cigars. So check out Casa Cuevas Cigars at www.casacuevascigars.com and on their Instagram and Facebook channels. And today's show is brought to you by Perilous, a game of ultimate cigar trivia, where contestants compete to win prizes and gift certificates to purchase their favorite products. You can join Perilous by going to stogiepress.com/perilous and register to be a contestant.
Welcome back. We are about to bring in some of my good friends in the industry. This is going to be Blas, Ray, and Guillermo. So let's just admit everybody and get this show rolling. You guys are just talking about what you were smoking. Curious on your end, which Las Villas?
Both of them are Las Villas. The one in your right hand is a San Andres wrapper with a Habano 2000 binder, and the one in your left hand, Jimmie, I'm sorry, I got it mixed up. Let's put it this way: the one with the red label, correct? That's a San Andres wrapper and a Habano 2000 binder with a Nicaragua filler. And the one in your other hand with the black label is a San Andres binder with a Corojo 2012. I'm sorry, San Andres wrapper, Corojo 2012 binder, and a Nicaragua filler. Fantastic sticks. The binders.
Smoke this one.
Go for it, man. You're gonna love it.
Okay.
Yeah, the black one looks like a Jimmie cigar.
It looks
And,
like a
Ray.
Do you know what a Jimmie cigar is?
Yeah, I think I do. You're from Boston.
Did you ever have a Boston Jimmie cigar?
No, you're gonna send me some though.
No, I don't have any.
We gotta resuscitate the brand just like we did GP.
Yes, we do. We need to resuscitate the Boston brand. I will apologize. This is from the show, and it is got, it's probably a little drier than I would like, but I don't care. I know.
Take it for you, buddy.
We're gonna have the Vegas experience now. So, you guys came back from Vegas. Talk to me. I talk to people all the time, both retailers and brand owners, about how the show's been going. I get mixed results. What was your view of PCA 24?
Jimmie, I've been going to shows for, I want to say 20 or 25 years, all kinds of shows. And in a previous life, you know, electronic shows, hardware shows, and all of that. I loved the PCA show. You know, I expected the big powerhouses to be there, all the reps to be there, all the buyers, you know, the usual delinquents that are at the show. But there was something else. There was a camaraderie, a brotherhood. We were able to sit down, smoke a stick, talk about our experiences. I remember you and I went back to Florida Tech, but both coincidentally, you're up in Melbourne, and I went to school up there, Space Coast, Florida. We were able to just have a great conversation and smoke a couple of great cigars. And what I mean by that is, you know, we try our objective is to transmit the heritage of the three characters you got here on screen, where all three of us are Cuban or of Cuban descent. We want to transmit that heritage, the friendship, the life, and the flavors through our sticks. And I had that experience at the show. That was what the show was for me. You know, it was sitting down with you and we have that common thread through our cigar experience. You know, we come from different worlds, but we just struck up a friendship, had a great talked about, you know, the pedigree of our tobacco and all of that. And that was my experience. How about you, Ray?
Well, yeah. Well, you know, besides talking about Jimmie's weight loss, which impressed me the most, and Mount Fuji, you know, that was my upteenth show. And this year it was a different thing for me personally. He didn't accompany me. We didn't really concentrate on some of our customers' booths like we did in the past. Jimmie knows, with Stallone, blah, blah. We helped Danny a lot with Rodriguez, great guy. Jimmie knows him well. But my goal was to introduce you to the cigar world. And I thought that was very interesting how you followed me throughout, because it's got to be hard for a guy like you that's new in the business. You have this passion and you're joining us now. But it was great to see you, how you related. And when I let you go with Jimmie, it was like a natural thing between you guys. And that's what impressed me the most, how you followed through and you were like a natural. So that was a good thing for me. Knowing how you flowed and you have this passion with the cigars, because it was wild for you and I. You know, we didn't stop. Because I went as a buyer, you know, a little bit to support our factory stores, but it was more of a buyer environment. Yeah, that was brutal for a while. Jimmie, we didn't stop. It was nonstop, placing orders, going with this guy, going with that guy. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it.
Nonstop. You can't even cover the whole floor. You know, the one thing, one complaint I heard, and I think was pretty consistent, is that it is a very large show, and 3 days is not enough to cover what you need to do for business. But with that said, a lot of people said, well, they go there for business, but they always follow through later if they don't miss somebody. Everybody understands that.
Right.
So the follow-ups later don't matter. It's okay. You didn't get to me. Because it's all about camaraderie. You want to sit down, you hang out with somebody smoking their cigar, maybe their new one, maybe one of the favorites you had. And that's the way the show is.
Yeah, yeah.
Now Guillermo is
is one that goes way back in the cigar world, right? And he, if I understand correctly, this business, GP Cigars, started in like 2013, but Guillermo landed in America like in 2004, right? So maybe I don't know if Guillermo wants to tell it or you want to translate through
No,
it
he
all.
can give it a shot. He's good at it.
Go ahead, man. Let's hear the story of GP Cigars.
It's very hard for me because my English is a little bit, but I will try.
Sounds great to us. Sounds great.
Okay, I start to work in this business in 1990 with my father in my little town. Then I moved to Havana. I work in another factory in H. Uman in Havana. Then I came to Miami in 2004. I start my first I start with my first business in tobacco business in here in Miami in 2010. I opened my little factory in Miller Drive here in Kendall. Uh, I start to work with my father. Together, I grow maybe six roller more here in Miami. Then I moved to Nicaragua, to Estelí, in 2015. But I start to make this idea, the GP idea, in 2013. I try to work, but maybe this is not the moment right now. I feel the team is we
The
are
right team.
the right team. We have right team right now, and we have right now more condition because the factory in Nicaragua growing, and I have a lot of employees. We make right now 300,000 cigars a month. We have more condition to try to introduce again the GP and Las Villas in the market. Uh, I I working so hard to use the more age leaf and wrappers and blends. I working for a long time with Ray and Blas for the correct blend, for the correct materials, wrapper, leaf, very age. And every cigar that we bring to the market, our promise is have never less than 1 year in the aging in my aging room.
Well, your cigars have always treated my palate fantastic. I would say I was probably introduced to your cigars initially through Rodriguez Cigars when they created their Series 84 line. And I think those are some of the finest cigars ever on the market and still do.
Stallone, you tried Stallone?
Then it was Stallone, right? Cigars. And again, and your cigars alone, just keep putting them into the line, and you just sit back and you go, you have more than 8 employees now, right?
Oh yeah, close to 100.
Right,
Jimmie,
so
we do about Guille was telling you about when he started and how the factory is going now in Nicaragua. We're doing about 60 private labels around the globe, and some heavy hitters here in the U.S. We got about 10 brands which we are behind here. Some which we're not going to mention, but some which we can mention, like like Rodriguez and Stallone. First of all, I got to say,
Stulac.
Danny and his and the team there at Rodriguez, you know them very well. Are they exceptional, beautiful people, brother?
What a
They
They
family.
have,
they are the epitome of what you
yes,
would expect from a cigar family.
yes,
Right?
yes.
Loving, caring, sharing, giving, helping, all of that packaged in one family.
Yeah.
And I just I knew his grandfather. That's how I got to meet him. I knew his grandfather 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
20
He
years ago.
also knew him.
Yeah.
More than that, probably. I'm sorry, more than that. I knew his grandfather back in 1987. Let's just put it that way. And I would go down there every year for vacation with the family before school started. I always went to that shop and hung out. The old grandma rolling the Lanceros. There on top, amazing.
It is amazing, that family.
That's
So proud of
amazing.
Danny. The way that booth came out was great. It was great.
That booth was beautiful. It stood out. He had a great location, a lot of traffic, and Jimmie, you and I were able to meet there. They're so inviting. Immediately Danny's mom said, sit here with us and here's some sticks and smoke and talk. We had a great time. Another one of our great friends is Tony Barrios. He's over there in Texas, and is one of the sticks that you just mentioned, Stallone. Fantastic sticks, and we got some great blends. Tony was deeply involved with all of that, just as Danny and his family were with the Rodriguez blends, and Guille.
So let me touch. Let me. I'm sorry. Let me touch on that for just one moment.
Absolutely.
So, and this is really for Guillermo, but you both probably know. When somebody does a private blend, is it the practice of the factory to get more involved together to understand the blend, or do some just want to go through the tray of 10 and decide what they want? How does that work at your factory?
No, que si tú te involucras en la gente o tú nada más dejas que ellos corran.
No. I involved in every single step in the factory, Jimmie. In every single. Yeah, and with everybody. With my in every department. I working with my every department in the factory.
Pero más con el cliente.
Yes, with the customer. This is my directly job with the customer. I have a lot of customers from Europe, Middle East, Asia, Canada. This is my main job.
Yeah, it translates into like a relation.
So maybe I should ask it this way, Ray. What is the normal process you go through when you sit down with a new private blend? All right. Somebody comes in and says, "Hey, I want to start a cigar line." What is Guillermo's first questions to them to understand what they want?
Yeah, I prefer working with the customer. I prefer the customer come to the factory. I give me the idea, the profile that the customer needs. This is the best way that you can make a blend is when you receive the ideas, the profile that the customer needs, strength, flavor, what kind of flavor, what kind of wrapper, because this is very important, and this is the best way to create the new blend with the customer in the factory. This is the best. No sé si con eso respondí tú sabes la pregunta de.
No, you know, one thing, Jimmy, I want to add to that, which is very important, is that
and I have a cool idea.
can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to add to what Guille is saying, which is very important, is Guillermo is intimately involved in all of the fermentation of the leaves. In other words, we don't buy fermented leaves or processed or anything like that. Everything is done in house, and that's one of the keys, part of the magic, part of the art of the whole thing is the fermentation, because you could go, all wrong, and different houses, and a lot of people ferment. Of course, there's
So
yeah,
so hold on, let me understand that correctly. You source the cured leaves from the barn, but not, and then you put it in the pilons.
Yes.
correct. But we also are planting. We have little baby tobaccos right now that were just planted for this season. We should have a harvest within the next 4 to 5 months. But you're right. Once the tobacco is dried and comes out of the tobacco house, it goes to what's called in Spanish a pilon, at the factory at Las Villas in Estelí, Nicaragua. And Guille is hands-on in the fermentation of every single one of those pilones in the factory. In the fermentation process, the leaves are the humidity and the bacteria that the tobacco naturally carries begins the process of fermentation and drawing out the ammonia from those leaves and transforming all those sugars, etc. That chemical process begins to happen, but you have to be monitoring that every single day, and monitoring your temperature and that process. And the most important thing, and actually I was talking to Guy about this last night, because I asked him, all right, Guy, we go through this fermentation process. Sometimes it varies depending on the amount of humidity or the amount of ammonia or the type of leaf or the species that we're dealing with at the moment, or whether if it's a wrapper or a binder or whatever. How do you know? And how do you know when it's ready? And the only way to know is to smoke it. And you have to have that master, the expert that can grab that leaf, uh, roll it, smoke it, and then incorporate it into what we were talking about, into what our customers are looking for, what's their blend, what's their flavor profile, and come out. And of course, not only do our customers come with an idea, but as you can imagine, Guille is also guiding them and taking them along that path to exactly to bring out perhaps an even better blend for the palate, because he's the sommelier, right? In in a sense, and he has that gift. Some of us have that gift, some of us don't. You and I, we know what we like to smoke, we know what we like to drink, etc. But creating that tobacco is an art. That's an art.
That's where the relationship comes in. That's how they get close to each other.
Correct. And we are so so gifted to have the team that we have, and to have Guille and that expertise and that art. I'm really passionate about the whole thing. Sorry for going on, because I just love the whole thing.
Well, it is. It's always amazing, and it's even more amazing when I find people like Guillermo and what their true craft is and how much they know. Like if I came into you and said, "Hey, I got this great idea for a cigar. I want a cigar that represents my climb up and down Mount Fuji. I want it to represent that, right? What would Guillaume's questions about that? That's my concept. I don't know what it should taste like. I want to look to the expert to say what would his view of that be to try to express that.
Él tuvo un viaje para Japón cuando perdió toda esa libra y subió Mount Fuji. Y él dice, coño, si yo conociera aquí, yo le la gasolina de ese puente, ¿cómo tú le dirías, you know?
Yeah, that's
So how would he respond? How would Guillermo respond to a question like that?
¿Cómo tú lo harías si este veniera y dice, oye, mira, que subí a la montaña, esto y lo otro? ¿Cómo tú reaccionarías para que decida un tabaco basado en eso?
A lot of conversation.
Yeah, it's very difficult, but
la relación sale de ahí, ¿no?
Yeah, it's very important to know everything that when the customer wants any particular cigar, any experience for the customer is very important for us because this is the key for you. Create the profile correct for the customer
based on your life experience or whatever.
Yeah, and the customer coming finding a strength, specific flavor, and sometimes for any particular food or any particular time. This is sometimes for rest, sometimes for after dinner, sometimes this is very important for us when you try to make a blend.
And smoking a lot of cigars, man.
And this one is treating me nice. There's a lot of creaminess in this.
Yeah, that's Guilla's baby.
Yeah,
that was
this is
a
lot of cream.
Jimmie, you know what I love about that cigar that you're smoking? It's a San Andres wrapper. San Andres is one of these. It's common throughout the industry, but it's a very strong leaf, and if you smoke a lot of those San Andres from around, you'll find them that they're very perhaps astringent and they produce a lot of saliva and this and that. The blend that Guillermo made with that particular wrapper and blending in the Corojo 2012, which is a very special seed, tones it all down, marries it perfectly, and gives you a medium plus experience, but full flavor. I mean, you're going to have all kinds of flavors coming out, as you gradually smoke that.
Definitely a citrus fruit note that runs through this, and which is keeping that palate salivated, which is one of the most important things. You want two things, either saltiness or a little bit of that tanginess to it to keep that palate salivating, because when the palate salivates is when you start to really taste those flavors.
Yes.
Correct.
There are other cigars that might have plenty of flavor possibilities, but your palate dries and you're not tasting as much.
Exactly right. Exactly right. I'm glad you're enjoying that. That's one of our babies. It carries the name of the factory in Estelí, Las Villas, and
that's where Villa's from in Cuba. Las Villas.
Now, when did this come out?
That came out last year.
Yeah,
this is 23. Okay.
Yeah, he had it aged for a while. Let me go back to that relationship, and I'm gonna give you a brief history on Blas, how he joined our two-headed monster.
I was going to ask him how long he's been smoking cigars.
Well, yeah.
or do
Well,
you just learn real
to,
fast?
to show you how that
I've been
relationship
smoking
works.
for a few decades, Jimmy. I'm weathered. I'm weathered,
Yeah. Well,
but I'm new to the business side.
well, not only that, but that relationship. This guy shows up to one of my shops one time, right? And he started talking that he wants to get more into cigars because of his son. And when I went to go charge him his stick, he gives me his credit card, right? And his credit card has his name, Blas Elias. And I'm like, shit, I know that name. And I'm like, are you Blas Elias? And he goes, yeah, of course, but I know. The Blas Elias? And he goes, what do you mean? I said, where you were born? He goes, I was born in Elizabeth, New Jersey. Well, shit, I'm from Elizabeth, New Jersey. Are you the family? I said, yeah. Your grandfather was best friends with my family from Cuba. These are the same town in Cuba. We moved to Elizabeth. We all grew up there, but he split off. So I knew his family for years, and we loved them. They were like family. And he shows up out of the blue, and we just hit it off the bat. And he started inquiring about what I do with the shops, with Guille and all that. And I said, I don't know how, because he was always hanging around, right? And then he goes, oh, I want to go to visit Guy at the factory. And I said, well, shit, we'll see what we can do. But my kid was going over there to help Guy out, normal stuff. And my son, Mike, he helps run the retail business. And he tags along with Mike. So I called Guy and I said, listen, this guy, he's like family, even though I haven't seen him or really didn't know much about him. You got to take care of him. And Guy's the type of guy that he listens to everything I say. So he said, sure, he can stay with me at the house with Mike, my son. I said, well, that's great. And that's it. The guy fell in love. He saw the whole process, the relationship, and he's all gung-ho. And he goes, I want to be a part of this team. So
he does this. So you do this full time,
interesting.
Blas, or do you have other ventures that you're involved in besides the cigar world right now?
Well, I'm beginning to do this full time. We're on the ground floor of our brand launch, and like I said, Guille and the factory, and Ray has been involved in the business for many years now. But we are reviving the GP brand and the Las Villas brands, and so yes, it's relatively young. We have some other things that are coming up that I think are going to wow everybody, and we're just beginning.
Talk about your little project when we first met, about the gift sets and all that. How you were thinking of all that. That was an interesting.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you talking to Blas?
Yeah.
So one of the beautiful things about, well, first of all, this all is exactly how Ray related. It was, in life, things happen this way, and
Butterfly effect.
At a certain time, you begin to appreciate those moments, those coincidences, if you want to call them that. Other people call them different things, but with time, you begin to appreciate when life gives you those opportunities. And I said, this is an opportunity. And then, and I went down to Estelí with Guille, spend, I don't know, it was a week or 10 days or whatever it was. And this guy over here is a beautiful guy. Okay. I mean, he's a beautiful soul. He's an old soul, a beautiful guy, a family man, an honorable person. and I'm pretty good at reading that in people. I just fell in love with him immediately. Ray's family and I and my family go back at least 100 years. So the moment we met, it was all there. But Guille, I loved the guy right off the bat. So it was just a matter of, and I told him, hey, I've been thinking about this with my family. What's funny, Jimmie, out of all the things that I've done throughout my professional career, this project that I have of some luxury gift sets with that incorporate fine tobaccos is something that my wife is completely behind. And, and so, you know, when the other half is completely behind us and she falls in love with that, you know, you got a winner right there, right? Because many times we all go out in different directions, and not necessarily
So the older we get, what I like is that the older you get, the woman behind you and the man behind the woman tend to let each other do what they really enjoy doing, because you know they're going to be around, and you just have the freedom to be yourself, enjoy what you do, right? And then my wife's the same way with me. It's like, you know, she does her thing and I do my thing, and then when we get together, everything's wonderful, right? So yeah, go for it. Make
that
something, make GP great again.
that's exactly right. You know, it's I think it all comes together. You know, you and I have passions. We all have passions, and we're all behind different. And this is our common thread. And I've always been passionate about cigars, and I have a single malt collection and all of that. And I love, you know, tastings and pairings, and I study about it, and I go to, you know, courses, and I do this and I do that, and it's just a passion. But now I can bring my business experience
Explain a little bit about that so Jimmie knows your background.
to this world that I'm passionate about. And this is it. This is it. I you know, the magic is here. It's all together. And I think the three of us, you know, the team we have, our families are behind it. We got a phenomenal product. You know, everything is coming together so beautifully that it was magic. That's what it was, and that's how it happened. It's not more or less than that. That's exactly how it happened.
So bringing from where you were into the cigar industry, your background, how did that dovetail for you? Your skills, what did you bring from your previous world?
Well, I went to school for something else. I went over there to Florida Tech with you, and you know, I got my Bachelor of Science in an environmental technology school. I went to school for aquaculture technology in particular, and I specialized in crustacean culture, which is far removed from what we're talking about here. Later on, I specialized in finance and whatnot, but throughout all my professional career and all of the ventures and the companies and the jobs that I've been involved with, it's been either a startup or a turnaround. And that's what this is. This is a startup or a re-startup, and that's what I bring to the table to answer your question. You know, the experience in in uh, in uh, in that, in the commercial side, and it's been beautiful. I'm really emotional about how we all teamed up, and how this wonderful friendship and this wonderful company is uh, is restarting, Jimmie.
So when you got involved and you saw the landscape, did the company as a whole have to have any rebuilding of relationships with retailers, or is it your existing retailers were there, loyal to you, and you're now in the process of building additional relationships with additional retailers?
We have an immense amount of retailers out there that where we have a presence, but they don't know that we are behind that presence. You see,
Right,
so
by the other brands, right?
yeah, because
So you
there are
got to
other brands.
educate them that that's ours, that's ours, that's ours, that's ours, that's ours, that's ours, that's ours. Right? And then they're like, oh,
that's exactly where we're at. So the answer to your question is no. We don't have any existing retailers, or very few. We do have, a few customers, of course, because we started a few months ago with the brand launch. But yes, you're right. We're not out there yet. We have to educate all of these retailers, and that we are not a new kid on the block. That we've been here for many years, and we are the architects of many of the cigars that they already have on the shelves.
Right.
and you
that
got
they
vertical
like.
integration, and you have vertical
Yeah,
integration.
yeah. So
which
that's
not
where we're
everybody
at.
has.
That's where we're at.
He
So
introduced the GP over there in PCA in what, 2013?
Yeah.
2013.
Yeah, so let's go back to the cigars for a second. So I got 3 cigars here, right? These are the GPs. Just right off the top, for a consumer perspective, what's the retail cost on these about?
Well, you have those 3 cigars. One of them is a Connecticut Puro. Yes, it's a Ecuadorian Connecticut wrapper with Connecticut's binder. The other one was a Habano wrapper, and Habano Puro, and the other one is a Maduro. And all of those are at manufacturer MSRP are sub $10 sticks. I believe the ones you have in your hand are robustos. That's part of one of the first things that I did was that competitive analysis, and we said, okay, who are our benchmarks in the industry? What are the sizes? What are they producing? Who is the competition? Who can we compare these sticks to? Who are those big names that these sticks are comparable to? What is their price? And we would like to be at a certain price, either there or below that market. As an entry brand, we want to have that cost advantage. So we are those sticks that you have in your hand, and I dare to say that all 3 of them were robustos, I believe, and they're sub $8 actually.
Correct.
To retail. Am I correct, Ray?
You are correct.
That is just amazing, because I think I tried one of these at the show, but that was late in the day and you can't compare anything. But I know Guillermo, I know the brands that you're behind. I'm yet to have anything bad from that group. So I'm like looking forward to these, because this is what consumers need. The pricing of cigars has dramatically escalated
Terrible.
in a way that it's going to be unsustainable to the industry, unless you just want to make less cigars, right? And make the same money. Okay. But there's a demand. I get it. Supply and demand. There's a demand. You raise the price, all of that. But the consumer is always going to go and look for what their wallet likes. And when you go, we're into almost the average $15 price range now for
Especially
just
up north and out west.
normal cigars, nothing super spectacular. And then we have on the extreme side, we've got cigars priced from $45 to $150
Crazy.
at the show this year. Right? So, yeah, not everybody's going to go out and buy a $150 cigar. But if I can get a quality, flavorful $10 cigar, which is going to be just as good as those that are in that big bell curve of the $15 cigars.
Right.
Boom. Now, take the retailer side. There's a complicated business equation because on the retail side, right, the retailer, they're making about double the wholesale, right? So $10 cigar is probably costing them $5, right? So they're making $5 on a cigar, gross, right? You give them a $15 cigar, they're making $7.50, right? Gross.
Right.
And to make more money, you sell $150 cigar, you made $75. This is a beautiful thing, right? I don't know if the costs catch up that way or not, but
Yeah, well,
hey,
in some
in
cases,
general, that's the case. And I get that, but man, consumers need to have a great price cigar that is a quality, flavorful, and always on people's radar screen.
You know, a great example is that cigar you're smoking, which is our
Yeah, I was going to ask you now these price points.
our Las Villas blends. A comparable cigar on the market is upwards of $20 for that stick. We're
Foco
priced.
notes. Foco aroma just came off this bad boy.
It's amazing.
Oh my.
I love that stick, Jimmie. Listen, both of those sticks are a sub $15 price at retail. And those are, if you look at those sticks on in other brands that I'm not going to mention, those are $25 to $30 sticks out there. We're going to be on shelf to the consumer sub $15 for both of those. I believe the Selección, which is the red banded one you showed me at the beginning, is a cigar we would MSRP for about $11.50. The one you are smoking right now is about $13.50. And like I said, Guille does the fermentation and the wrapper and the binder for all of our sticks, but for both of those, and the quality that we have, the price, the everything is just right. It goes to what you were saying and explaining a minute ago, to an industry that is incrementing because of the prices, the freight, the price of the agro industry that is also increasing. Everything around the whole cigar is increasing. We're able to maintain our price and deliver that same quality, and that exceptional stick for the consumer. I'm really psyched about getting this in the hands of more people. And hey, man, I appreciate being here. We all do, and talking to all of your listeners, and we will be there. Hopefully, we'll be able to get stuff into their hands, into everybody who's listening.
So, who goes on the road tour?
Well, we're all gonna do road tours, but that guy right there, he's the main road guy.
Okay.
He's the circus
So
coordinator.
we're going to look forward to seeing you at a shop near you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
When does this road tour going to start?
Well, we've already started. As you can imagine, there's a lot of administrative things that have to happen, and a lot of material that we have to put together, and a lot of phone calls and contacts that we have to make. You know how it is. It's the footwork and all of that. So we've already started, but we're in the very initial stages. We're touching Florida and Texas, and I just got back. I was in January. I was in Hong Kong. So they fell in love with our product there, and we're jumping through all the hoops and going through the motions right now to get some product over to Asia Pacific. Our
That's
sticks,
an amazing market.
Amazing.
it's incredible.
I mean, I just saw Lampere Cigars just put out a press release today that now they've got distribution in South Korea. I mean, they
I
love
saw
they
that.
they have I hope they're shifting away from the cigarettes to cigars and realizing, hey, I can and it doesn't have to be super expensive, I hope, for them either, because I know when I was in Japan and I lived in Japan, if you smoked a cigar, you were boss man. That's how they see this. Everybody else
Yes.
smokes stanky cigarettes. Their boss man smokes this. And if you can get this into them at a price that they can afford
Right.
and recognize that an hour and a half of this is better than an hour and a half of these.
That's correct.
Yeah.
The Cuban cigars have that market saturated.
Over in Asia, my 5-minute takeaway, without getting too deep into the weeds, but it's an aspirational market. The reason, Jimmie, is that the tax structure on cigars is so elevated that the end price to the consumers is pretty elevated. And they are used to right now, because of the dynamics of the market, etc. There's a big Cuban presence in Asia, and they're used to a certain flavor profile. They have not. There's not a big presence of New World cigars.
Right.
We were able to, I've been going to Asia for a few decades now. So it was one of the first trips I wanted to make. Speaking strategically, we're also looking for those blue oceans, right? We don't want to get too caught up in the red, bloody oceans of competition. But I was there for about 2 weeks, and in those 2 weeks, and speaking to the distributors that and presenting our product, they were floored. Within those 2 weeks, I already had product in tasters in Cambodia, in Vietnam, in Thailand, and in Hong Kong. Going nuts and saying, "Who are you guys? What is this beautiful product? We got to get this. Please, set it up. Let's start working." So I think it was a great experience. I think we're on the ground floor to do something fantastic over there. I wasn't able to go to Japan, Jimmie. I'd love to go there.
That's a
And
growing market right now.
absolutely.
I mean, they're starting to come around too. And of course, how are you doing in Europe?
You know, Mercado Europa.
See, I work with the Euro market for a long time,
Mhm.
from 2017. I have a distributor. I have people. I have a lot of customers in Europe. They want to help us in this project.
So if somebody wants to buy, let's just say one of the GP lines, right? Where in the States today can they find them?
Miami,
Where in Miami?
MiamiHumidor.net. We got some,
MiamiHumidor.net has them. Okay.
yeah, has them, and other shops will have them on their sites. And as we expand, we'll go through Florida, Texas. We'll go visit you soon to Middle Florida. They'll be there by the end of the summer. They'll be in most of the shops here in Florida that that want to give us a shot, and have a great stick on the shelf. I mean, it'll happen. Blas has had great response here in my. You know that South Florida is the toughest market for cigars,
Oh,
and
absolutely.
yeah, and he's finding that out already. But the way he presents himself, the way he shows his passion, and he has those relationships, he's had some success. So I'm sure he'll have that success in Middle Florida, Northern Florida, Georgia, throughout the South, and yeah, you watch, it'll be out there.
And today's show is brought to you by Bocock Brothers Cigars, a new and active brand founded by two Honduran brothers, Bryant and Douglas Bocock. The brand zeroes in on those folks that are looking for easy to smoke cigars inspired by unusual circumstances. Very importantly named after their very interesting and imitable last name, Bocock. Right now, Bocock Brothers is featuring their signature edition, made at the AJ Fernandez factory in Estelí, Nicaragua. It features an Ecuadorian Sumatra wrapper, a Nicaraguan Habano binder, and a Nicaraguan filler. Available in three popular formats: a Robusto, a Toro, and a Gordo. You can check out Bocock Brothers Cigars at www.bocockbrothers.com. And today's show is brought to you by Platinum Nova Cigars. Platinum Nova is a family owned and operated premium cigar company. Only the highest vintage tobacco and the most skilled hand workmanship go into the making of each Platinum Nova cigar. This results in a timeless blend of art and craftsmanship. The Nova brand and the family's work are a tribute and an honor to their grandfather to always remember him and his infinite passion for the finest cigars. Their love for cigars started with their grandfather, a dedicated master blender and entrepreneur in the cigar industry. So the next time you're looking for that exquisite cigar experience, pick up a Platinum Nova. You could check them out at Platinum Nova Cigars, www.novacigar.com, and on their Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter channels. This episode of Taking It to the Nub is sponsored by the Box Press Cigar app, the ultimate cigar smoking experience. With Box Pressed, you can easily catalog cigars with your own virtual humidor, quickly rate and record notes for any cigar using the Smoke Session feature, receive intelligent cigar recommendations based on your personal taste profile, and access exclusive discounts from top cigar brands. You can even shop your favorite cigars directly in the app, then automatically sync the order to your virtual humidor, plus so much more. Download Box Press today by typing bxpr.sd/install into any web browser and discover the world of cigars like never before. That's bxpr.sd/install. And today's show is brought to you by All Saints Cigars, a company founded in 2019 and headed up by industry veteran Mickey Pegg and his two friends, Martin Corboy, a successful restaurateur, and Frank Leo, an Air Force Academy graduate military veteran. As Mickey explains it, they were all sitting down, talking and smoking cigars, and finally they decided that they would do this thing together. It was time. Mickey said, I decided if I'm going to work hard at it, it should be something I love. Besides, a tough day with a cigar is better than a great day doing anything else. Soon after, they began the process of launching All Saints Cigars, jokingly referring to themselves as the Holy Trinity: St. Michael, St. Martin, and St. Francis. They chose for their logo the cross of St. James, the patron saint of Nicaragua, the country where their cigars would be produced. You can check out All Saints Cigars at www.allsaintscigars.com.
Now, did you have an opportunity at PCA to talk to retailers? Because you didn't have a booth, right?
No, well, yeah, we were with Danny and Simon Cohen from Lucky Cigar. But yeah, Blas
Oh,
made
okay.
a lot of contacts with a lot of retailers.
That's right. You guys make Lucky Cigars.
Yeah. Simon Cohen, it's a good customer. Yeah.
Yep.
Good old Simon.
So, So
You know,
you
another thing, Jimmie. Excuse me. Another thing that we're looking to do. The fact that we make so many steaks for so many brands, and we have a close um, relationship with many of them in the sense that uh, we are able to. We have a close relationship with all of them, obviously. But what I mean is commercially, we're able to distribute also. So one of the things that we want to do, which I think is a good strategic move and very promising, is to bring some of the cigar brands that we already make and that are already on the market that have
One
a
of our
certain
banners.
traction underneath our umbrella, so that when I come and see you, Jimmie, I have a portfolio. It's not just one brand or a couple of brands, but we also have a portfolio of many other
right.
brands, and try also to do it, obviously it's not a one-stop shop because there's all kinds of there's a
Do you have
large portfolio.
do you have a bonded warehouse?
We don't have a bonded warehouse at this time because and that's a great question. We do have a warehouse here in Miami where we're able to distribute from. It's not
On the back
bonded.
of one of our large retail.
Right. So you got to pay all the taxes before those cigars show up in your warehouse.
That is correct. But
He
we are
owns a trading
also
A lot of
company that
financial
brings all the
outlay on
cigars in
that.
from Nicaragua.
correct. But we're also able to ship direct from Nicaragua to our international markets. So our
Yeah.
international markets do not have to touch U.S. soil. That wouldn't make sense. It would be
Right.
freight on top of freight, and duties on top of duties, and then on to the next country. That doesn't make sense. So we can ship directly from Nicaragua
Yeah.
to the country of destination.
We
But
have a bonded warehouse in Managua. We are duty free in Nicaragua.
Duty free in Nicaragua. All right.
Las Villas is an authorized in bonded or bonded, I should say, supplier in Nicaragua.
Right. And our trading
how
company
many-
brings in the cigars. We import the cigars. We pay all our duties and taxes, and we store them in our and behind one of our retail shops here in Miami. And as we grow, we'll expand that through a bonded warehouse, and we'll start trucking, buddy.
So now at the factory, if you go back to the factory, how many pairs of Banchero rollers do you have?
Right now, 47.
47 pairs. That's a nice set of tables.
That's Villas Cigar Factory.
We have close to 300 employees, Jimmie, in Nicaragua. It's a sizable operation, and at any given moment, any given day, there's close to 100 rollers on the floor.
Working in
There
pairs.
you go.
We
That
have
is
a
a
box making part of
sizable.
our factory. Makes the boxes. We design our own boxes. So
Oh, you have a
that's all done
box
in-house.
factory in your factory too,
We
in-house?
have carpentry. We have
Yes,
carpentry.
Do you
And
do you
all of these are made in house.
There you go. That definitely. See, this is why your pricing can go where it goes, because even though you've got all these other factors, monetary factors that are involved, inflationary with other things, you have control over a lot of what you have. What do you do for bands? You outsource the bands?
Yeah, the bands are do some of the
Action label
Action label.
and cigar ring.
Cigar rings seems to be the common culprit in making bands.
Yeah.
So strategically, when you're talking strategy, what is your 5-year plan? Where is GP Cigars in 5 years from now, according to your plan?
What a great question.
So I was out of a world similar to Blas, as I can tell you, because I deal with all this crap when I was working,
Listen, Jimmy,
Well, you know,
running a
let me just say
business,
something
how to
real quick
run a
before Blas
business.
talks. I I have a lot of faith in Blas, and with him on board, you're gonna see this brand all over the place. He's got that pizzazz about him and that relationship that I think is gonna be a good fit, not only with our brand, our personal brands, but like you were saying, Stallone, Paul Stulac, hopefully one day Danny. Um, all those brands will be part of our portfolio because they become family. Okay. When they go to Guille, they become family and they're willing to belong to our distribution. So Blas will have a portfolio and that'll help them branch out there to all these brick and mortar shops.
That's like, you're very similar to a number of different brands that are at your level, but the one that comes to mind that most recently, within the last, I guess, 5 years, has launched their own brand is Casa Cuevas, right?
Sure.
So
But he's a great
Casa
guy.
Cuevas was making cigars for more people than you can
That's right.
imagine, and they
That's
still
right.
do, right?
Yeah.
But then they decided they'd come out with the Plasencias did the same thing,
Yeah.
right?
exactly.
Plasencia was like, hey, this market's going up. We
Right.
can produce cigars for all these people. Why don't we? And we own the tobacco, we own the processes, blah, 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 blah. Why are we not putting our name on a cigar and
Right.
keep it going?
Right.
So you're doing the right thing with what you have and your resources that are available to you, which is very admirable moving forward. I'm happy for you.
Jimmy, I'm trying to be careful here with names and all of that, but one of the top five brands in the U.S. We've been in conversations with, and they liked our strategic outlook. They believe in us, and not only the brands that we make already that we've been talking about, but now we have one of the top five brands in the U.S. Uh, with a cigar that's made by them that they want us to distribute. It's already awarded. In fact, I have it. I'm sitting in the warehouse with the product next to me. So I think that's a testament to a lot of
Let
the
me,
things
let me
we're
scan
doing.
the
A lot of
camera over.
things.
Let me scan the camera. Oh, I know I can't see
We're,
it.
we're doing a lot of things right, and I think, and to answer your question specifically, the one you asked, where do you see us in the next? Listen, the first thing I did was a financial projection and a sales budget and all of that stuff. This is a 3 to 5 year process. Okay, let's not kid ourselves. We're gonna, we're conservative. We have a methodical approach, a serious plan, a roadmap to move forward. We see ourselves in the next 3 to 5 years in a good amount of retailers here in North America, in the U.S. in particular, and within the next month or so, we will be in Asia Pacific. We have a few stores already, like I told you at the beginning, already here in South Florida. I'm going to come visit you in the Space Coast pretty soon. And we're already
Remember to tell me beforehand what you like to eat,
okay.
and my wife will. I got advance notice because I have to clean the house. My job is make sure this house is spotless when anybody walks into it.
You
So
got it,
that's
man.
my job, and her job is she'll cook the food so long as I clean the house
There you
properly.
Well,
go.
that
That's a good
So
deal.
you will get
it,
an amazing home cooked meal on the road. Anybody that's been here from the cigar community will tell you we call it the Dia Vita Bistro, and you are gonna just be like, this is like one of my favorite dishes, and it's now like my favorite dish.
Italiano, Italiano.
Invitation
Whatever you
accepted.
want.
Thank you, Jimmie. That's very generous on your part. Appreciate it, brother.
My
He
wife
won't slaughter a
appreciates
pig like he
it.
did when we went to go visit him over there, but he'll get close.
Now, do you have a contingency plan in your planning with the unknown 800-pound gorilla, the FDA, and if they reverse course, if they do something different, does that you see any impact coming down upon you that you have to be able to address and pivot fast on?
Jim, that's a toughie. Some of our brands are already grandfathered in, but some of them are not. So that
Mhm.
800-pound gorilla is always there. I mean, it's always there. We gotta
Yeah.
just, play it by ear, and hopefully our grandfathering brands will kick in and it'll keep us going. But with the new ones, yeah, that gorilla's there.
You always got to have that contingency
Yeah,
plan
it's
just
always
to keep it going.
Mhm.
yeah. That's a great question, and that's always going to linger on top of this industry. You
There you
never know
go.
what's going to happen tomorrow.
Never. And whatever happens tomorrow could be reversed the next day. It
That's
just
it.
goes on and on until somebody stops the madness.
Well, that's exactly it. It's a madness, and we saw what happened when it went to that extreme. The madness stopped naturally because it was ridiculous. So let's
Uh-huh.
hope clear. Our industry. What is it? What's the percentage? Is it 2%, 1% of the population?
2 to 3% of the population, I mean, of the adult population. And this is an adult product, and this is something that is it's like alcohol, right? I mean, you got to follow the rules, got to follow the regulations. Shops can get shut down to do the wrong thing, so they're going to police it themselves. Believe me, patrons will walk young people out the door before the manager gets to them because they don't want to have
Absolutely.
have any problem, right? But with that said, there's all kinds of local regulations, all kinds of local things, where you can smoke, where you can't smoke. I mean, I think we talked about this. I remember it wasn't too long ago, I'd say back in the 90s, right? Probably the 90s. I could walk into a Chili's restaurant, sit at the bar, fire up a cigar, and get a margarita.
Right.
Perfectly okay.
Yeah.
And I did it all the time. It was one of my favorite places to go to have a couple margaritas and a nice cigar, watching TV. It
Right.
was, you know, you can't do that today.
Oh. We also own retail shops, Jimmy, here in South Florida, and
Yeah, talk about that. And that's the Miami Humidor is one of them, right?
yeah, very successful shops. Me and Guy started that project once he left for Nicaragua, and it was we had it was like a domino club, so that's what it was entailed as, and it kept operating like that for a while until I said to him, "Listen, this is not working." And my kid really wants to get into the business with us. He grew up in the industry, and he's going to graduate college. So let's weed him into something good. So he and I, by ourselves, we built a concept, Miami Humidor, and we built our kid a great shop, and he runs it to the T. Now that shop's going to be part of the distribution. We also opened up a second shop here on US 1. That's the one you see now. They're like
Okay.
superstores. We support all the brands. We know everybody in the industry. We're big on Fuente, Oliva, My Father. You name the brands, we got them. And we know how the retail market works. It's all about relationships. And we flow that. So, so we're like, A to Z when it comes to the cigar business. So we feel that this distribution is in the right moment. And Guy and I were going to do this without Blas. Blas, like I told you the story, he just showed up with that butterfly effect, and we fell in love with him, and we think he's going to take it to new heights.
So
All our brands.
my local brother of the leaf here, Lou Piscatelli, asks the question: Is Blas related to Chef Anthony Elias from Miami?
Chef who?
Elias.
Chef Elias. Are you related to Chef Anthony?
There's got to be some Lebanese relationship there.
if he's Lebanese, if he's Lebanese, Cuban Lebanese, I'm probably related, but the name doesn't ring a bell.
Okay. There you go. There you go, Lou. That's the answer.
He's
All
related
right.
to
So this
Danny
is.
Thomas, though. Danny Thomas is a relative of Blas Elias.
There you go.
There you go.
And because of that, you have a beautiful charity to donate money to.
There you go.
So if you haven't donated any money, donate money to St. Jude's Hospital. You'll help. You'll help out Blast. He'll say, "Look, I'm able to raise money right from a cigar channel."
Thank you, Jimmie. That is one of the most beautiful charities around.
Yes.
It is. It is indeed one of the best. Okay. I mean, if you have a child that has any kind of problem, there's no cost to the parent at all
Incredible.
for these serious problems that they have. And yeah, my daughter was a big proponent of that. Her sorority Tri Delta was that was their main charity was St. Jude's. So she got me tuned
Beautiful.
into that long time ago.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
So this is the stage of the show where we talk a little bit about fun topics. Besides getting to know you guys a little more personally, but the biggest topic on everybody's mind today is the eclipse.
Hey!
All right, the eclipse.
What is it?
Monday, which we'll only see a little bit of it,
Yeah.
but there are people traveling all over the United States, trying to get into these areas. My son, I know, and his fiance, they're going up to Rochester, New York to go see it, which should be beautiful, they said.
Yeah.
But other parts of the country, it's just going to be a rain out, unfortunately.
Yeah, I heard that.
It'll still get dark, but it'll be midnight cloudy rain, which is not what you want to see.
It's going to go over
But-
Blas's kid's house.
It's gonna, there you go. But I don't know if you're listening to or read any of the great conspiracy around the eclipse. Okay, which is fascinating to say the least, how people strangely connect dots. All right. Example. Back in 1811, there was an eclipse, so total solar eclipse that cut across the United States. 7 years earlier, there was a total solar eclipse that cut across the United States the other way. Just like these last two that we just had 7 years apart. And they crossed over an area, which both of these are crossing over a very similar area, which just so happens to be not too far from a fault line, okay, in Missouri. And in 1811, the fault line fractured, and there was a massive 7.8 and an 8.2 earthquake with thousands of aftershocks for a year. People were feeling them all the way up to Boston. All right. Devastating earthquake. Okay. You don't hear much about it, but you hear a lot about it now because of the eclipse. And you say, oh, eclipse, dual eclipse, crossing points, certain areas. There's all kinds of biblical references to this that people have thrown into it that says there's going to be this massive earthquake. Get ready for it. By the way, that earthquake actually had the Mississippi River flowing backwards.
Yep. That's the Madrid, Madrid.
The new Madrid fault line. Now, the other fun part of that is, and this is where the conspiracy gets even better, right? Back in 1811, when that earthquake happened, there was also a comet that came across.
Yes.
There will be a comet on Monday called the Devil's Comet that's coming across the Earth, right? And there are 4 planets that are aligned at the same time. So people are just going bonkers with this stuff.
Hey, listen, that's part of our culture, and that's what we like to do. We always connect the dots. But
You
we just
connect
had an
these
earthquake
strange
in
dots.
Jersey. My aunt felt it over there in Elizabeth.
Well, that's part of what's happening. They said, see, it's starting there, and it's going to get now it's going to move over to this other zone, and we're going to have this massive earthquake. So, like all conspiracy theories that have happened from the past to now, we will see what happens in the next month or two, and maybe it just doesn't happen, which it probably won't. But if it does,
Watch out.
watch out. Exactly. But yeah,
I
so
gotta ask you a
earthquakes.
question. I know you guys know, but how did you lose all that weight? I gotta know. I know you told me at the show, but I was
I
going
know
for it.
99% of the people listening have heard that. But I'll tell it to you anyway. I I made a promise to my son years ago. I was living in Japan and I invited him over on his birthday. And he stayed for a week. And friends of mine there, we went down to the Fuji area. All right. And we stayed in this beautiful onsen. And one day we went out and we kind of went up the mountain a little bit, just a little bit. And there's no way we were climbing a mountain. We weren't prepared for it. We were in flip flops and shorts, right? You don't climb the mountain that way. Anyway, I told him, I said, look, when you get your doctorate, we're going to come back here. We're climbing that mountain. So, speed the film up during the pandemic. He gets his doctorate, neurobiological research, right? Studying the autism spectrum, all right? So he's at my house on like Thanksgiving and he says, I guess we're not going to go to Fuji. And I said, sure we are. The pandemic's going to be over and they're going to open doors and we'll be able to go. We just can't go this year, right? He looks at me and he goes, look at you, Dad. You're a fat fuck. There's no way you're going to climb a 13,000-foot mountain. You'll die. And I looked at him and I said, did I ever break a promise to you? I said, I'm going to lose this weight. I'm going to get in shape and we're climbing a mountain. He says, I'll believe it when I see it. From that moment, I immediately shifted. My wife already had started a Weight Watchers program that she was on. I saw her starting to lose some weight. She cooks the food. I said, you just count my points and tell me what I can and cannot have. Do I have enough points to have a couple glasses of wine at night or no? And we kept to that point and the weight just started coming off. But that's only half the equation because you need to have exercise to keep it right. So my wife, she does Pilates. She's actually now a certified instructor. And I was like, I'm not doing Pilates. I just didn't, I no. I said, but I will go back into martial arts and pick up where I left off when years ago my son and I were doing it. So I did. I went back, found the old dojo, went back, introduced myself, and I started working out. And
But
then
Jimmie,
I walked.
Jimmie, tell us the truth. Did you put on the spandex or you didn't put on the spandex?
No spandex. No spandex. I was able to lose 80 pounds in a year. We went to Fuji. We climbed the mountain. I went up with my son and his fiance, and his girlfriend came down with my son and his fiance, who he proposed to at the top of the mountain in freezing cold, sleety, wind, rain, no crater, no sunrise that we were able to see. So he was all upset. I said, look, you did it. Who cares? Right. And when I got back, I was like, I am not going back to that weight. I weigh myself religiously. I adjust when it comes to alcohol, dramatically dropped the alcohol intake. Dramatically. I mean, I'm not quitting. I like it. Let's be real. I like a good scotch. I like a good glass of wine or two or three sometimes. But it's not every day. And because of that, all of that weight just came in. It's just maintaining.
That's great.
And I'm fit. I have energy that I didn't have before. So I would tell anybody, if you want to lose weight, you got to put your mind to it, man.
That's it.
And you got to stick to it. And
That's
I can
brother.
eat anything I want. That's the fun part.
Yeah.
The other day, we had pizza and ice cream cones.
One scoop.
No, one of those things that you buy in the store with, the frozen
Okay.
food section, with the cone, the ice cream, the chocolate on top, and the nuts. It's like 150 calories or something, 200 calories. It doesn't matter because you get free days and you pick one and you just gorge and it's okay. And the weight still
That's a great story, man. Well, I think Jimmie
Comes
froze
off.
the ice
I
cream.
did. I put on pounds. I was in. Oh, hold on a second. Am I coming
Now
back?
you're back. You're back. You're
Am I,
back.
am I back? I was over when I came back from PCA. I got on a scale, and I was 8 pounds heavier than when I left. And I said, I did a little
Eight
eating, a
pounds?
little drinking. 8 pounds. The next day, I got on a scale. I lost 7 of those 8 pounds in one day because it's all water weight from the plane. My legs
Right,
swell
right,
up on a plane
right.
and came right off. And I was nervous. I was really nervous. I was like, oh, no, 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 no. I did not put on that much weight in 3 days. No way. Right.
Hey,
So
Blas and I ate
anyway,
a pound of beef at Golden Steer in Vegas. I actually ate
I,
the whole steak, a pound.
I've eaten a pound of steak. You got to have a couple of good, strong cigars after that.
Oh yeah, we did too. It was great.
Now, when you think about your life, and I'll go through the panel here. When you think about your life, other than cigars, what would you say is one of the most memorable moments in your life outside of cigars?
Fuera de tabaco, que fue algo grande en tu vida.
You know, Jimmie, I'll answer that one this way. I won the lottery 4 times in a row.
Get out of town. Well, I won the lottery 4 times in a row too, but it was only for like $10 on a scratch ticket.
So my lottery is the family.
Nice.
And those are the memorable moments. Wife and 3 wonderful kids that are they're little treasures, little diamonds that are just in my eyes perfect. And those are my lottery winnings.
Same here with me.
Yeah,
Was the
me
birth of my
too.
grandson, and now I got 3 of them. We're all family guys. Guy with his grandson. No doubt, that was the greatest day of my life. And I've had some great days. I've been blessed.
How about Guy?
I am blessed. Yo estaba, ¿cómo es? Yo estaba
Bendecido.
muy bendecido. I am blessed. Remember, Jimmie, I come from Cuba. Every state is very, very important for me. But family is the most important. Family is the most important. I have a daughter, and grandkid. This is my life, and my family, my whole family, because my father, my mother, my wife is involved in it's a family business. It's not only it's not only me. It's my family.
All about
And,
family, buddy.
and it is absolutely about family. I'm glad you all agree with that. I've got a wife and ex-wife, two kids, 2 grandkids, um, another daughter-in-law about to be married next year, and I'm looking forward to all of this. And this journey going forward is spectacular because hopefully I can free up enough time and just not worry about life and just go hang out whenever I can with them.
Get that on the dot. It's all about time. Money can be found. Time is gone. This moment that we're
Time is
living now,
gone.
us 4, it'll be gone. So it's all about time, my friend.
So Chris Colter says I could lose another 4 ounces and look 10 times better if I just lost the hat.
Yeah, he's got a point. That hat with that B on it affects us Jersey guys. I'm telling you.
Come on.
Soto
Baseball.
looks good, doesn't he, this year?
You know what? The Red Sox and the Yankees look good. I don't know if you paid attention to to other sides, but I'm going to tell you, last night's Red Sox game, that was one of those really quirky games to watch. A lot of hit by pitches, right on the knuckles, right on the hands. Couple of guys had to leave. A tremendous attempt to catch a ball out. Okay, threw his shoulder out, getting it. I mean, injuries happened in that game so fast, but home runs were flying out of the park.
Yeah.
It was just a back and forth game. Yankees and Red Sox, man, they're basically tied for first place right now. Early in the season, everything can change. We've already now got injured players, so who knows what happens
Baltimore's
to
always
my
tough.
team. But who?
Gonna be
So
fun.
you're a Yankee fan. What about Guillaume? He a baseball fan?
No.
He's not a baseball.
He's
But
from Cuba.
Cuban,
How
not
can you not be a
baseball.
baseball fan? It's Cuba's pastime too.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. How about you, Blas?
I'm a basketball fan. You know, I enjoyed playing that when I was growing up, and you know, and other sports as well. But baseball was, you know, I grew up overseas, Jimmie. I was, you know, Pops was an expat, and
Basketball is very
you know,
popular
he was,
overseas.
yeah, he was. I traveled with him. I was a little kid, of course, and the big thing down south of the border is soccer and all of that.
Yeah.
So
Which I
you
can never
know,
figure out. I can't figure offsides out in soccer. Safe on
Nah,
that.
I can't either. I'd rather watch a paint dry on the wall, man. That's a
But being a
What else,
basketball
Papa Troy?
fan, are you paying attention to Caitlin Clark? You watching this
Oh yeah,
drama,
she's
this
awesome.
amazing story coming out? You
Amazing.
see the game last night
I saw the highlights. She was on fire.
at the end, the
Yeah.
little trick
She had a
play.
crappy first half. I saw that. Yeah.
No, but that trick play at the very end of the game where she bounced, she
Yes.
tossed the ball and hit the opponent's
Yeah.
legs, and it bounced out of bounds to get the ball and stop the
Yeah,
clock
like
and all this
who
shit.
did that? Larry Bird did that one time, right?
Yeah. And she is such a scholar of the game. If you listen to her talk about that, she's a true scholar of the game. She understands the rule book. She studied that. She knows basketball. And God bless her, man. Go all the way. I'm 100% Team Caitlin, man. Let's just go. And America is what she has done more for women's basketball in 1 year than the whole time they've been there, because she's now put eyeballs on women's basketball, and we're watching that more. I think that we're watching the men's basketball bracket.
Right.
So
She's something else.
there you go. So Caitlin Clark and Taylor Swift. That's it. That's the future. That's the future of where we're going.
hey Jimmie, I remember you and I were talking at the show, and I don't know how we rolled into it, but you were telling me you also loved single malts. I was telling you all about single malts. You told me about a trip you went out to
Edinburgh.
Scotland, and
Edinburgh, Scotland. Yeah.
I know we have a lot of single malt listeners probably hooked in. What's your go-to? What do you like?
If I'm going for it, I'm doing Lagavulin 16 all day long.
Excellent choice.
It's it's about right now it's probably $115, $120 a bottle, like a Total Wine or something like that. My problem is if it's sitting on that bar over there, it doesn't last more than 3 days. That's how much I love Scotch.
So you like me? We like the peatier Scotch, and I tried to turn Guy into a fan, but he can't get away from that rum. You know, it's the Cuban.
Oh, man.
It's the Cuban in him. You know, it's rum, man.
Nothing wrong with rum. I mean, nothing wrong with rum at all, especially good aged sipping rum. I mean, forget the rum and the Coke, all right? The good aged sipping rum. It's just the palate just opens up. And when you take a cigar and rum,
Yeah.
it's good.
There's some good.
We did an event the other day here, and one of we took an expert bartender, and she decided to pair our Sumatra wrappers and Cameroon binders with rum old fashions. And I had not. First of all, you say a rum old fashioned. I wasn't. I didn't know what to expect because that's not in my wheelhouse. Brother, what a delicious drink she prepared, and what a great pairing. I have to say, it went beautiful with a cigar. Um, it was a great experience.
There you go. Okay, folks, we're well beyond the hour and a half mark. Things fade at this point. Viewership fades. People tune in later to watch it again. This show will be post-produced and cleaned up because we had some glitches along the way. So I'll make it as clean and beautiful as I can, and I'll get it out on the YouTube channel. I'll give you all the last word. Start with Blas.
Well, Jimmie, first of all, thank you again. We had a great time chatting with you, brother. Appreciate your time. Appreciate all the viewers. I hope to meet everybody someday and exchange, you know, talking with everybody. I hope that we can get our cigars into the hands of all of your viewers, and I hope you have the same. I hope they have the same experience and can see the passion, the love, and the time and the dedication that comes that's in behind our product and all of that. And thank you, man. I appreciate it. Appreciate it very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Yeah, Jim, thanks a lot. I always told Blast we had to talk to you. You're the man. I've loved you from when I first met you years ago. You, me, and Todd going out there and enjoying ourselves.
Todd.
Todd's a great guy. He's a good friend. And, we miss him dearly, and I really appreciate your help, my friend.
Anytime.
We'll see you soon.
And we'll see you
West,
soon.
number one.
And don't forget, if you're coming up here, let me know. With that, this show is a wrap.